Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. Cases, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hello and welcome on in. Break glass, a case of emergency. It's time for the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stuart. Zach Burke is keeping us on the air, and we are stirring the pot today when it comes to an NHL top 10 list that has David Pastrňák, yes, our own very David Pastrňák, better than Sidney Crosby. We'll tell you why that actually makes a ton of sense. Plus, we will go over the Red Sox' biggest need right now. They need a bat in the lineup. And Christian Campbell is just sitting there wasting away at AAA. What are they doing? Why don't they call him up? The numbers will stun you. Plus, do we really need another documentary on the 04 Red Sox? Like, genuinely, can we all take a step back? And even those of us who are the most ardent fans of that team in particular, can we just sit back and think, why do they keep doing this? We'll go over why this newest one looks like the worst one yet. All that and more coming up on this episode of The Cam Show. It's here every weekday live at high noon Eastern time on YouTube and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. So check out the other videos on the channel talking about what we talk about every day. We start where we start, and today that is with the Bruins and maybe more specifically, David Pastrňák. Although, if you look at the Bruins' outlook for this season, those could just become synonyms. David Pastrňák is the Boston Bruins right now. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it, especially if you watch the last few months of last season. But is he a top 10 player in the league? Is he actually underrated at this point? My answer is yes. But let's tell you why. Let's get real here. If you were starting a team today, in the year of our Lord 2025, would you take David Pastrňák over Sidney Crosby? What about over Austin Matthews? It sounds blasphemous, but based on where they are right now, their most recent seasons, their current roles, might not be crazy. In fact, I think it's the right call. Hockey Psychology, one of the great hockey YouTubers out there, just did a top 10 NHL players list and somewhat controversially picked Sidney Crosby number 10, Austin Matthews number 9, and ahead of both of them, the Bruins hero, David Pastrňák. A lot of people giving him some grief about that. Like, wow, that jumps off the page. And look, Sidney Crosby is one of the 6 or 7 greatest players ever to play the sport, man. Like, he is legitimately that accomplished, that good. And he's still kind of doing it. Austin Matthews, was supposed to be this generation's Mario Lemieux to Connor McDavid's Wayne Gretzky. And I'm not sure Bruins fans even appreciate how special it is to have a player that's better than both of those guys right now. Like last year, Pastrňák's numbers were legitimately MVP worthy, yet he really didn't get much consideration at all, didn't get any first place votes because his team sucked. And that was just held against him because of that. But if you're talking about valuable players in this league, it's really tough to pick one that's more valuable than David Pastrňák. He had 106 points on a team that finished in 15th place in the Eastern Conference. He had 49 more points than the next highest scorer on his own team. Nearly 50 points ahead of Morgan Geekie, who got over 60% of his points directly from David Pastrňák. The offensive season he had last year should be studied in a lab. Like, that kind of stuff just isn't human. It's not. That's why he deserves to be on this spot. But let's look at the guys around him, man. Like Sidney Crosby, still nuts. Still really good. And he only sits at 10 realistically because he's old. Like, he's 38, but he's still producing. Dude scored 91 points on a team that was neck and neck with the Bruins all year long last year for how bad they were. Like, a lot of people would throw Crosby on this kind of list and just be like, yeah, legacy pick. Of what he's done so far. No, this dude can still play. He can still play. 38 and still a point a game guy. Still scoring 30 goals. Still had a shooting percentage in the mid-teens, which is among some of the best in the league. He can still play at an elite level. But like David Pastrňák, gets wasted on a pretty bad team that isn't getting any better. You know, he deserves 100,000% to still be on this list, Sidney Crosby. But what makes it all the more impressive after all that stuff I just gave you is the fact that Pops is ahead of him. Like, for as much credit as I'm going to give hockey psychology for knowing how much puck he knows and still puts Sid in the top 10, got to give that extra credit for realizing that Pasta's better right now. Where I think this list gets really interesting in the year of 2025 is having Pastrnak ahead of a guy like Austin Matthews. Because again, Matthews comes into the league as the number one pick in the draft, and it almost would, in most other years, he would be seen as generational, but he comes a year after Connor McDavid. And so we don't necessarily think like that. But bursting onto the scene, Austin Matthews is like the next great one along with McDavid. If McDavid is the next Gretzky, Matthews is the next Lemieux. Like, that's kind of the way that NHL fans were thinking about this. Not that I disagree that Pastrnak should be ahead of him, but it does feel like a bold take. It does feel like something you'd get a lot of shrapnel for. I agree that Pastrnak's better, but this is reputationally bold. I don't think there was any point in either of their careers, really, where even though Pastrnak came into the league, 2 years earlier than Matthews did, I don't think there was any point in their career where you were like, yeah, Pastrnak's easily a better player than Austin Matthews. That was never the reputation. Okay? But coming off of last year, it works. Now, Matthews was hurt last year. How seriously, we really don't know. He played most of the season. And he didn't have a great season by his high standards, no matter how you cut it. His production dipped by 26 points. Or excuse me, production dipped from 26 goals, from 69 goals, very nice, leading the league, to 33. A year after he scored the most goals of anyone in the league since Mario Lemieux, almost 30 years before, he's suddenly just scraping by as a 30-goal scorer. His points dropped by 29 from 2024 to 2025. And look, his defensive game's improved. It's something that Pastrnak can't really hang his hat on. But Matthews couldn't muster a single goal at the Four Nations tournament. And couple that with his 2 playoff series wins ever in his 10-year career, and he has a reputation for not being a big game player. Like, that's the reputation that you get. Now, David Pastrnak does not have a Stanley Cup, but he does have a Game 7 overtime winning goal in a game against Austin Matthews. But when it comes to these kinds of lists, context is extremely important, right? Like seeing Crosby, what he's doing on a horrible Penguins team and keeping him in the top 10 overall is evidence of just that. Like, you need to take context in. But it's important to look at context the other way too. Not just looking at how bad everyone is around him and how great that makes a guy like Crosby or a guy like Pastrnak, but looking at it from the other side. Now, this doesn't necessarily diminish the fact that Austin Matthews is a supremely gifted hockey player, but from day one in the NHL, he's had the best combination playmaking and defensively sound winger in the entire league. Well, he had that guy. Mitch Marner's gone. And you have to wonder what that does to Matthews' numbers going forward. Like, even when Marner had his best statistical season in the NHL last year, when he finally gets to 100 points, Matthews' offensive numbers went down across the board. That's weird. Again, I'm not saying Austin Matthews is a bum. I'm not saying he's not a great player, but that is weird. And as his teammates get better, his own numbers got worse. And they did the same amount of winning in the playoffs. So it's not like this whole, Steve Yzerman under Scotty Bowman's sacrifice for the common good, where his numbers continue to go down, but his defensive play gets more sound and the team gets better. It's not necessarily that. The team's not getting any better. They're still good. They're not good enough. Here's where the context is really going to set Pastrnak apart from everybody else, I would say. 3 years ago, David Pastrnak played on a line with 2 future Hall of Famers. Played with Brad Marchand and Patrice Bergeron and scored 113 points to go with his only 60-goal season of his career so far. And when you play alongside two Hall of Famers, you can make it look easy, right? But then 2 seasons ago, Marchand was kind of moving in between that line and the second line. So Pasta got a ton of time with James Van Riemsdyk and Danton Heinen, with Charlie Coyle centering the line. He scored 110 points. You -3 from playing on a line with Marchand and Bergeron to playing on a line with Danton Heinen and Charlie Coyle. How about this season when he played with Morgan Geekie, Elias Lindholm, and Pavel Zacha? He still scored 106 points. He still scored 40 goals. He's only down 7 points on a line with Geekie, Lindholm, and Zacha than he was on a line with Marchand and Bergeron. That is crazy. Like, that is nuts, man. There's no other 100-point scorer in the NHL that's doing this. Nobody that's doing it at the level of David Pastrnak. No one that is consistently putting up the numbers that are among the best in the NHL, while the quality of their line mates drastically dissipates each and every year at this point. Like, that is a humongous drop-off from where they were in 2023 to where they were at 2025. And David Pastrnak just keeps going. Just keeps going. You know, Matthews, his teammates are getting better. And credit to him, part of that is he's making them better. Like, he makes Mitch Marner a better player in a way that Mitch Marner makes Matthews a better player. And they both make Matthew Nyes a better player. But by that same token, you know, Matthew Nyes has this nice year because he's playing alongside Matthews and Marner and gets the big money move, or the big money contract, I should say, staying in Toronto. Morgan Geekie was released by the Seattle Kraken a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. This team that has no idea what they're doing and is one of the worst in the league. He became a 30-goal scorer playing alongside David Pastrnak. That's no small feat. Danton Heinen got a contract because he was playing with David Pastrnak. Morgan Geekie got a contract extension because he was playing with David Pastrnak. Now, does Pasta's defensive game leave a lot to be desired? Yeah, absolutely, man. But he's a scorer. He's one of the most dynamic offensive players in the world. Like, that needs to be taken into account. I feel like I'm doing a Trent Alexander-Arnold comparison here. Like, yeah, he's not much of a defender. No, is Nikita Kucherov? Is Nathan MacKinnon? They're okay. They're fine. But do you care about that? No, you don't. And to give Pastrnak a little bit of slack here, you didn't exactly teach him the defensive ways when he was breaking through the ranks with the Bruins, because you didn't need to. You had a bunch of guys for that. You had a bunch of two-way guys. The problem is you didn't replace any of them. So then Pasternak's like, what? I'm entering into my prime and you just don't want me to score goals now? You want me to be a defensive guy? Again, that time may come in his career like it did for a guy like Steve Yzerman, but he's a lot more like Teemu Selanne in that sense than he is Steve Yzerman, right? It's not his fault you can't replace any of the two-way guys. But on a team that was 28th in scoring last year in the entire NHL, David Pastrnak was 3rd in the entire league in scoring. In one of the worst offensive environments in all of hockey. Like, well, when you have a shot like that, you're probably just a power play merchant, right? No, try again. No one, not Connor McDavid, not Leon Draisaitl, not Nathan MacKinnon, not even Kucherov, had more even strength points last year than David Pastrnak. No one. 83 of his 106 points came at even strength. No one in the league had more. So when the ice was at its most congested, and when the opposing team literally only had to focus in on one guy in black and gold, David Pastrnak still delivered like a top 10 player in the league. And if you're looking at forwards, he's a top 5 forward in the league. So then it comes back to the original question. Who am I starting a team around? Give me the guy who has 10 more good years left in him. and give me the guy who doesn't need stars around him to produce. Crosby only has one of those things in 2025. It's not his fault he doesn't have 10 more good years in him. Austin Matthews only has one of those things. David Pastrňák has both. And it sucks when I hear Bruins fans, and it's a minority, but they're out there, and I hear god-awful Boston Sports Talk Radio, Mike Felker, saying how bad David Pastrňák is because he's not Patrice Bergeron. He's not a Selke candidate. And so David Pastrňák sucks. He's putting up these numbers with genuine fringe NHL guys. Fringe NHL guys, some middle six guys at best is what he's doing with these guys right now. And he could be playing on a line this year with Matthew Poitras just to get him acclimated to the NHL. Like none of these other players, no Nathan McKinnons or McDavids or Draisaitl's or Kucherovs or Crosby's or Matthews's are having to deal with what David Pastrňák is dealing with right now. And it just sucks that we're not 100% on board with how good this guy is. He's probably, if they don't F it up and they keep him around, he's probably going to be the Bruins all-time leading scorer. And he'll deserve it. At least their all-time leading goal scorer. And he'll deserve it, man. Of course, what this goes to show mainly is that the Bruins really can't completely waste his prime. It does still worry me. I'm not going to lie to you guys. You're talking about a guy who's, 29 now? Just turned 29 in May. Like, these are his prime years. And the team's going in the wrong direction. Still. And the GM is really not making bold enough moves to say, we're going to go in on it right now, while Charlie McAvoy to a lesser extent, but David Pastrňák is right in smack dab in the middle of his prime. And you risk, by doing that, you risk a couple years from now, him going to some other contender, like someone going to the Florida Panthers and seeing him have to go down there to win a Stanley Cup. It would be really, really sad if Pasta can't win a cup in Boston, if he has to pull a Ray Bourque kind of thing. That was embarrassing enough when it happened to Bourque. If it were to happen to Pastrňák too, and then your two all-time leading scorers both did the same thing at the end of their career, that would be really, really sad. But take a look at this picture, man. Pastrňák and Crosby, cut from the same cloth at this point. You know, both are dealing with nothing. Both don't have great defensive games at this point. Crosby's defensive game is certainly dipped. At a time was a very, very, the best two-way center in hockey, obviously. But those two guys, they're both in the top 10 right now. But if I had to start a team today, it's around David Pastrňák. He can give me 10 more years. He can give me unreal production with very little around him. And you might say, oh, well, Cam, look what that got him in the standings. Yeah. But you remember the line he played on in 2024? Do I need to go over that again? With Danton Heinen and friggin' Charlie Coyle? They won a playoff series that year. They almost won the division. They won a playoff series because he scored a Game 7 overtime winner. Need I say more? Yes, David Pastrňák's a top 10 player in the NHL. He might be a top 5 player in the NHL. And it's about time we, the fans, all of the fans, appreciate that more. And more importantly, it's time for the general manager to appreciate that a little more and put a team around him that is capable of leading him to his first Stanley Cup sometime in the next couple of years. But guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. This might get people all kinds of fired up. Is David Pastrňák a better player than Austin Matthews right now? Is David Pastrňák a better player than Sidney Crosby right now? Let me know in the comment section below. Then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you every weekday live at high noon Eastern time on YouTube and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. I'm Cam Stuart, your host. That's why it's called The Cam Show. We're talking Bruins all the time. Zach Burke is behind the glass, keeping us on the air. Your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio every single weekday. So check out the other videos on the channel, talking Bruins, Red Sox, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. Coming up next, we will visit the Red Sox, who have similar offensive struggles to the Bruins, and they have a stud hitter right there in AAA. His season's about to end, and for some reason, they won't call him up. The season is slipping away from them. Why won't they call him up? We'll talk about that next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
OsleyMD.com.
I've always had thin hair my whole life. It breaks off at a certain length. In the last 6 months, I've noticed it just really bad. I mean, you could totally see it. I wear a hat a lot. I tried several different products. My experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
OsleyMD.com.
And now, back to our show.
Back to our show. That's my show, the Cam Show, Rogue Media Sports Network. It's called that because my name is Cam. Cam Stuart here. Zach Burke behind the glass, keeping us on the air 5 days a week, live on YouTube at noon Eastern time every weekday, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Little break in the day, lunchtime. You're sick of hearing all the shit Boston Sports Talk Radio you've heard in the morning. You're preparing yourself for listening to it in the afternoon. You get a little bit of real life coming through you, or coming through to you. I don't want to say coming through you. I don't want that kind of responsibility. Every weekday, live at 100 Eastern time, talking nothing but Boston sports. We've talked about David Pastrnak being a top 5 potentially player in the league, but definitely top 10. Is he better than Austin Matthews or Sidney Crosby, though? That became the question. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now we will talk about the Red Sox. Because, man, is this getting interesting? And that, I mean that in a derogatory way. This is getting too damn interesting. I don't love this. Last week, we were talking about going into a quasi-playoff series with the Yankees at home, 3-game set, just like you're going to play against somebody here in the next couple of weeks. And they lost 2 out of 3. They would have lost the series. They would have been swept. And thinking, man, that could get you the home field advantage that you need. Now you're looking at it like, can the Red Sox hold on? Can the Red Sox actually hold on to a playoff spot right now? 2 weeks left, less, week and a half left, 2.5 game lead over this Cleveland Guardians team that's coming out of nowhere. And all of a sudden the questions are rolling in. They're losing to the A's and only scoring 1 run. Like, what's happening here, man? What is happening with this Red Sox team? And why can't they just call up their best minor league player like they have done several other times this season? That becomes the big question here. The Red Sox are running out of excuses, man. That grip on the wild card, that's slipping. They can't hit. Scoring 1 run against the A's, getting no hit into the 7th inning against the Yankees. It's time to figure something out. If there was ever a break glass in case of emergency for this offense, it's right now. And the answer is calling up Christian Campbell. He's behind the glass. Why, oh, why is he not here? I can't believe it. Every time I'm watching the Red Sox, I'm thinking, why is he not here? It still baffles me he's not on this team. I know. Oh, he was hitting 150 in May. That guy sucks, Jay. But look at what you have right now. You're telling me April's MLB Rookie of the Month, Christian Campbell's bat in this lineup doesn't give you a better chance than when Nate Eaton or Nick Sogard or David Hamilton's bats are in the lineup? Seriously? You think those guys give you a better chance to win big games down the stretch than Christian Campbell? Like, it's crashing down around them. They're now in the third wild card spot. And those Guardians, somehow, some way, they just won't go away. They're friggin' cockroaches nipping on the heels. It's crashing down around them, and everyone knows it's the offense. That's the problem. Yet, they still give at-bats to these stiffs. These quadruple A guys who don't really have a spot in the big leagues. I know Weisert's blowing games. I know. But when you score one run, how many games are you going to win scoring one run? You've done it one time this year? One time. And in the last month, they released a guy who was stellar in the playoffs last year and was on the mound for the World Series clinching out 11 months ago. And they just cut him. They sent Walker Buehler packing. Instead, they're replacing him with two rookie starting pitchers who didn't even start this year in AAA. They were below that, which is fine. But why can't you do that for hitters? How is it that they could do it for pitchers in a pressure-packed month when you're chasing the postseason and they won't do it for hitters? In fact, it probably should be more obvious to call up your best minor league hitter because the position players got hurt, right? The guys like Anthony and William Abreu and Alex Bregman earlier in the year. Walker Buehler and Dustin May, they just suck. They didn't get hurt. It's really weird that Campbell gets sent down in June to work on a few things. And 3.5 months later, he's still not good enough to be on this team. This team that desperately needs him. I'm just not following. I'm not following it here. Because as I've talked about all summer, he's knocking the cover off the ball in AAA. Like, he's probably too good for AAA. Anyone who hasn't seen the majors yet, like, you saw what he's been doing in Worcester, and you'd say that kid deserves to be up in the majors. This kid has performed in the majors. Wasn't for the last month or so before he got sent down, but he has performed in the majors. This year in Worcester, since being sent back down, he has an OPS over 800 with 8 homers and 36 RBI over 70 games while playing mostly center field and first base. I'm just not getting it, man. All the kid can do down there is hit, and he just keeps hitting. Again, these are the most important games of your season. Christian Campbell can fill a huge hole in your lineup. I don't even think you'd believe me if I told you this, but this is the truth, what I'm about to say. The second base position has the worst OPS of any position in the Red Sox lineup this year. Yes, even worse than catcher. That's because every day now, you're throwing out either Sogard or Hamilton, while some combination of Romy and Nate Lowe DHs and one plays first base. And every fucking time, Masataka Yoshida DHs in Boston while Christian Campbell's playing in Worcester, a puppy gets cancer as a punishment for how fucking stupid that is. So help me out here. The worst offensive position on your roster is also the same position your best minor league hitting prospect plays. That checks out. And look, I understand there were defensive struggles there this year. I get it. All right? You have bigger problems than that. And I'm not advocating for Campbell to play center field. I'm not going to do that, even though he's played that. a majority of the time, actually, he's been down in Worcester. But having him in the lineup could hide the fact that your current center fielder is quite literally the worst hitter in the entire sport. And that's not hyperbole at this point. That is stone cold fact. Since the All-Star break, Cedar Rafaela has a 36 WRC plus. That is dead last among qualified hitters in Major League Baseball. To make it even worse, because you might be sitting there thinking, well, what does WRC plus even mean? It's weighted runs created. The next worst hitter by that same metric is Tyler Freeman, whose WRC plus is 28 points higher than Cedar Rafaela. Cedar Rafaela isn't just the worst hitter in the league since the All-Star break. He is like putting a monopoly on bad hitting. He's 28 points lower in WRC plus than the next worst hitter. Like, that's a dynasty, man. That's not even close. That is some sucking even Bonnie Blue would be proud of. And if you hate the stat nerds because you're an eye test kind of guy, hearing the crack of the bat, seeing the batting average, how about his 103 batting average in September? He's 4 for 39. Will that do it for you? If you're not an advanced stats fan, you're in luck, because that stat is also dead last in the major leagues. Dead effing last. 103 in September. Just what are we doing here? Again, not saying Christian Campbell can play his position, but can he hide a little bit of that Cedar Rafaela sucking? Yeah, he can. Maybe a little bit more protection in that lineup. Play Campbell at second. Play him at first. DH him. I don't care. But it's time to get his bat in the lineup. I'm sick of watching this team roll out minor leaguers night after night after night when there's a major leaguer that's ready to come back. And we're still supposed to expect this group to have the first wild card. Like, man, you're 0 for a billion with runners in scoring position this week. And Christian Campbell is playing the Rochester Red Wings tonight in front of 3,000 people. What are we doing? Please, somebody help me. And again, looking at that second base position, it's horrible, man. Somehow, some way, David Hamilton's OPS has actually gone down this month. So is Masataka Yoshida's. The worst hitters in your lineup are somehow getting worse, and I'm still told Christian Campbell needs to work some things out. Like, do you think Peyton Tolley needs to work some things out after that first start? Has Cedar Rafaela needed to work some things out the last few years? Why do they get to do it at the major league level and Christian Campbell can't? Look, I know he struggled after the first month. I was there. I watched every game. I'm not that stupid. But did you see how he looked in the first month? Did you see how he looked in April when he was hitting over 300, had an OPS over 900, and drove in 18 runs in 28 games? Like, at this point, aren't you just bringing him up knowing that he's capable of a hot streak like that? Because David Hamilton and Nick Sogard and Nate Eaton are clearly not capable of that. They are not capable of doing that. They have literally never done that. Like, if you want another October head start on free agents, maybe don't call up Christian Campbell. Maybe that's not the way you want to do it. If you want us to be talking strictly Drake May in October, and if you want the Bruins season to start before your season ends, or after your season ends, excuse me, you don't want those seasons to overlap, then go ahead. Don't call them up. But if you want to get into the postseason and have a shot at reuniting with your best hitter in an ALCS, you got to do something now. Like, we're talking about real danger time here. We are talking about breaking glass in case of emergency, because Cleveland is surging again. The Rangers are still on a surge, and they own the tiebreaker with you. Like, this is getting hairy. This is getting hairier than vaginas in the 90s right now. And if that's not the case, if you don't trust him to put him in this lineup that is clearly falling off a cliff, I think we really need to start questioning why they committed 8 years to this kid. You saw enough in April to extend him for 8 years. And now in September, it's not good enough. It's not Nate Eaton good. You going to sign him to an 8-year contract? That's what we got to wonder right now. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. I'm Cam Stewart, your host. Zach Burke keeps us on the air, giving you your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. Check out the other videos on the channel talking Bruins, Red Sox, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. Coming up next, I'm going to get as cynical as I can get, man. There is another documentary about the 2004 Red Sox, and I just have to ask, why do we keep doing this? I'll give you that answer after I go out and get my dog to shut up, and after this short commercial break. We'll do it next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
And now, back to our show.
Back to our show, The Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. It's called that because I'm Cam Stewart, your host. Zach Burke is keeping us on the air. We're 5 days a week here, live at high noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Now, you guys know about me by now. I can be pretty cynical, okay? Especially for someone that is as young as I am. I typically think about how old I am these days, but I can be pretty cynical. And I saw something on Twitter this week that really kind of made my heart sink again. It just kind of gave me this sick feeling in my stomach of like, why? I think about it sometimes with teams' uniforms. I think about it with the movie industry these days. It all comes back to the one thing. Why can't we think of something else? Why can't we come up with another idea? Why can't we explore something else? Why has our media cycle just become, well, what if this person did something that already was done? Then you'd like it, right? Song covers, remakes of movies, remakes of sitcoms. Like, it's never just enough to have one thing. It's got to be more. The trailer that I watched that got me really pissed off about it is this coming to ESPN next week.
If you were from Boston, you were a born loser.
Every other Red Sox fan would look at you and know what you've been through.
Misery is a binding force.
Behind the back!
This team's cursed.
Probably the darkest day in Boston baseball history.
This is out of control. This has to end.
Year after year after year.
All that heartbreak lit a fire in me.
It was a family.
It felt like the whole world was upside down.
It feels incredible to watch the impossible.
Nothing could stop me from believing.
Don't let the Sox win this game.
There's no other way to break the curse.
He's out. It's never going to be the same. But it's way better than losing.
Like, what is there left to say? What is there left to say about the 2004 Red Sox? Like, somehow you've broken this down for me. It's like taking your favorite song ever and just playing it over and over and over and over and over at every kind of function and every car ride on every whatever the fuck. And then you're just like, stop it, stop it, stop it. Looking at you, Mr. Brightside. It's like, stop. We get it. I understand. And to hit, like, to start scratching away at my core, a guy whose whole life revolves around sports and the Red Sox because of that team. If we're saying enough, please stop, then do us a favor. Fucking stop. We get it. They hadn't won for a long time. They came back from 3 games to none. It's the greatest sports story ever told. The problem is it's been told too many goddamn times. I get it. And every new angle has something to piss us off. Like, first off, when I think about the 2004 Red Sox, here's what might be the difference between you and me, or maybe between me and other people watching who aren't from Boston. When I think about the 2004 Red Sox, I don't think about Ben Affleck or Matt Damon or Bill Burr or Donnie friggin' Wahlberg. I don't think about those guys. I don't give a shit what those guys think about the 2004 Red Sox. When I think about the 2004 Red Sox, you know who I think of? I think of my dad, who had been watching the team for 40 years and thought they were never going to win it. I think of my grandfather, who was 74 and had never seen them win the World Series. And they can't be in the documentary, but it's thinking about your mailman, your pastor, the people down the street, your high school baseball coach, these people who lived and breathed with it every single day, regular people who gave everything to root for this team. And they finally won it. And I'm going to hear about it from Donnie Wahlberg 20 years later. The fuck was he doing, man? He was filming a movie in Hollywood and saw them win the World Series. Oh, wow, what a plight. That's what really grinds my gears. And HBO did a documentary that actually was narrated by Ben Affleck, weirdly enough, in 2003 called The Curse of the Bambino. And then they did one the next year after they won that was Reverse the Curse of the Bambino. And they got fans. They brought in fans. Like, they had Stephen Wright and I think Dennis Leary, but for the most part, they brought in fans. Guys like Jerry Thornton, who was early days blogging at Barstool. And, just random people who you didn't know. And whether they were great fans or not, they were fans. Like Barnacle, probably making up stories in there. But most of them were fans, and they were from here, and they stayed here. Not Donnie Wahlberg and Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, because I'm sorry, there's no way you can tell me that Ben Affleck's a bigger Red Sox fan than me, or my brother, or my dad. And you can't tell me that it meant more to Matt Damon than it did to my dad, or my Uncle Joe, or the litany of family members who died before they got to see the Red Sox win the World Series. I'm sorry. It doesn't mean more to Ben Affleck than it does to them. It doesn't mean more to Matt Damon than it does to them. I'm sorry. But thank God we got Katie Nolan in there, because she needs to comment on everything that happens Boston. She's so Boston, man. The other thing, Ben Affleck opens this trailer by saying this.
If you were from Boston, you were a born loser.
Incorrect. I'm going to push back on that a little bit, because Ben Affleck, who was born in the 60s, would have seen literally the greatest hockey player ever to lace up skates skating for the Boston Bruins. You would have been able to see that 80 times a year. And, oh, yeah, that team won 2 Stanley Cups. Outside of Montreal, they were the best team in the NHL in the 70s. And they made the playoffs every year from basically when Ben Affleck and Matt Damon started watching sports until after Ben Affleck wasn't Dazed and Confused. The Bruins made the playoffs every single year. Oh, a born loser. Or how about the 80s, which you should know very well? Were the Celtics fans a bunch of losers in the 80s? Or the 60s? Or the mid-70s for that matter? Yeah, born losers. The Celtics were a phenomenon in the city in the 80s. Like the 80s Celtics defined an entire generation of this region. Generation of losers, though? Like, that's what I don't like. The Red Sox were losers, and Boston's always been a baseball town. I get it. The Red Sox are always the most important team. But, like, the Boston arrogance that came about in the 2000s because we were winning everything, that was born in the 80s because the only arrogance you had was with the Celtics. But Ben Affleck's telling you were a born loser. That's what I don't get. And he's wearing a Jerry Remy Fight Club shirt. I love Jerry Remy just as much as the next guy. When was Jerry Remy fighting? I mean, if you had a Jared Remy Fight Club, that would make a little bit more sense. It would be in really poor taste, but it would make some more sense. So I'm going to watch this because I like to complain about things and I like the Red Sox. But can we stop, please? We don't need any more of these. We've had about 50 fucking 2004 Red Sox documentaries. There's nothing that has been left unsaid over the last 20 years, and it's certainly not going to be anything that Donnie Wahlberg is going to tell me. And then Donnie's like, oh, I had a chip on my shoulder because shut the fuck up, dude. Shut up. Are you going to tell me some story about how New Kids on the Block had this fake grit because the Red Sox sucked? Are you going to tell me a story about how your teenage brother blinded an elderly Vietnamese man by hitting him in the face with a crowbar because the Red Sox didn't win the last baseball game of the season? Like, shut up, dude. I'm sick of that. We don't need any more on that team, even though that is the formative team. Like, I am the way that I am right now because of that team, for better or for worse. But even I'm saying stop. We don't need any more in the 04 Red Sox. We don't need a 10-part series on the Patriots dynasty. We watched it in front of us. There's no team that's been covered more in the history of sports than that team. We don't need a 10-part series about the Boston Celtics and their history. Did I enjoy it? Sure. But do we need it? No, we don't. We don't. I watched a YouTube video yesterday about the 1982 Brewers, Harvey's Wallbangers. Okay? This team of a bunch of ne'er-do-well veterans, real scruff-of-the-neck guys. Like Robin Yount, their best player, was riding a Harley into the AL championship celebration they had after the season. That team kind of came out of nowhere in the early 80s. They made the World Series for the first time in their history. They played a great series, and the place went nuts, man. Like Harvey Keene, their manager, came in the middle of the season, obviously gave him that great nickname. He was living on the other side of a bar that his wife's family had owned for generations, right down the street from the ballpark in Milwaukee. And they could fit like 70 people in this bar, and it was just jam-packed every night. And like there was thousands of people around it after they won the AL pennant. Like, is that not a great story? But I'll bet you didn't know that story. Because it takes a thrift shopper from London to tell that story on YouTube. Because ESPN is lining up the 10th documentary about the 2004 Red Sox. Yet, again, nothing on the 2013 Red Sox. You know, the team that in the wake of a tragedy in their own city went from worst to first and won the World Series. Nothing about that. It's from like, you can explore some other teams here. There are other great stories to be told. I don't need to wait I shouldn't have to wait every 30 years for a Ken Burns baseball documentary to learn about other teams in this sport, because all we've got are Derek Jeter 6-part documentaries and 2004 Red Sox documentaries. I'm just sick of it, man. That's all. I'm going to watch it. It's going to suck, and I'll do a review. But there's got to be other people there with me. There's got to be other people that love that team but say, please give it a rest, please. If that's you, let me know in the comment section below. And if you just want me to shut up and stop complaining about something that was as great as the 2004 Red Sox, let me know in the comments section below. Then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live every weekday, live at high noon Eastern time here on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. So drop a comment, drop a like, and thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next edition of a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. We understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit TwoSains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.